And good morning world, it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, it's the 5th of March 2016. Today is going to be a manic day, it is already actually. There's a number of things happening, and of course we've got the total eclipse of the sun in the background. Let's just do a little bit on the eclipse before we look at today. I've had a look at which countries are being directly affected, and actually it's really light. The eclipse starts over the eastern Indian Ocean, and its path of exactness goes just south of Singapore, goes over Bali, through the Moluccan Islands, over Papua New Guinea, and then swings north into the Pacific Ocean, passes close but not close enough to Hawaii, over the top of Hawaii, and then heads up into the northern Pacific Ocean before petering out before it gets to the Canadian and Alaskan coast. In the north, the area of 50% visibility is going to be as high as Bangkok in Thailand, Vietnam, the southern coast of Japan. And in the south, 50% visibility will be in Darwin, in the northern parts of Australia. And even in South Australia, places like Alice Springs and even Adelaide will get a partial eclipse, not Brisbane or Sydney. 85 to 90% of this eclipse is over water. I do think this is going to have a much bigger effect on the East Asian countries, possibly Australia, possibly China, certainly Japan, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, than it is on European or American countries. But you can't ignore the fact that the eclipse is opposite Jupiter. So whilst the sun and moon are on the eastern East Asia, Jupiter, of course, will be on the opposite side of the planet, which will be somewhere around the central Atlantic, bordering Western Europe. So this is going to be a global influence. And it's brewing, and it's in about 4 days' time, 4 days, 5 days' time, something like that. Today, though, whoa, what a day today is. We've got Mercury changing sign. I think Mercury changes sign. Is it today? Yes, it is. Is it today? No, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, Mercury changes sign. Mars changes sign the day after. But before they change sign, they are squaring each other, and that is now, today. Mercury square Mars, one of the most fractious aspects in astrology. Mercury in Aquarius, the desire for new communication, the desire for innovation, novelty, futurism, community-based interaction and social adaptism and futurism. Squaring Mars in Scorpio, which is all about privacy, the desire for not so much secrecy but privacy, and the ability to get things done in an understated, quiet, background, behind the scenes way, in a way that doesn't brook for interference or doesn't take prisoners. So with Mercury square Mars, you can be sure there's going to be a lot of conflict today between he said this and she said that, and we should be saying this, but no, let's keep it secret. So public versus private, secret versus overt. There's a lot of stuff out there today, and it could be quite fractious. So the sensible person will smile at others and go, isn't it interesting how we can have such different opinions? Tell you what, let's sort it out next week, and then walk away with a smile on their face. Add to this that it's a void moon later today, but it is one of the shortest void moons of the year, I'm delighted to say. It runs from about 6 minutes past 4 in the afternoon UK time to 23 minutes past 4 in the afternoon UK time, a 17-minute void moon. This will be when the moon at the end of Capricorn will be sextiling Mars in Scorpio before it moves into Aquarius. Once, of course, it's into Aquarius, it's in the sign before the sun, and then it moves out of Aquarius in 2.5 days' time into Pisces, and then we're really on the big run into the eclipse. We cannot look at the solar eclipse without also looking at the lunar eclipse a couple of weeks after. The solar eclipse is at 18.5 degrees of Pisces, opposite Jupiter and the node. The lunar eclipse, 2 weeks later, will be at 3.5 degrees of Libra, weakly conjunct the node, but opposite the sun and opposite Mercury, so that's not going to be a doddle either. But if you've got planets around 18 degrees of the mutable signs, particularly Pisces or Virgo, or 3 to 4 degrees of the cardinal signs, particularly Aries or Libra, then be aware that you are being affected by these eclipses. Now, I don't normally pay that much attention to the eclipses of the sun and the eclipses of the moon. I think that in many cases their influence is overstated, but there's something about this solar eclipse. Because it's over the Pacific Rim, because it's opposite Jupiter and squaring Saturn, I hate the word prediction, forecasting that within the next week we're going to see a sudden spike in geophysical events, hot springs, hot geysers, Yellowstone, earthquakes, sea quakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, geophysical stuff. Primarily, it has to be said, centred around the Eastern Asian edge of the Ring of Fire. But watch this space, and if I was in charge of the world tsunami and disaster relief, I'd be having a little bit of a yellow alert for the next week. Okay, folks, more on the eclipse later. By the next time I speak to you, Mercury will have changed sign, or at least the Mercury-Mars square will be over. Dynamics are changing by the minute. Stay flexible, stay adaptable, don't get stuck into rigid arguments, especially not today. Have a great day. Catch you later. Bye.